helpful categories where I parked my.
All right, good afternoon, Commissioners. Welcome back, and back to you, Chair Harrington.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. We are back in the Board and Commission work session here at 1 o'clock. This is Chair Catherine Harrington with a full complement of Commissioners, Vice Chair Commissioner Willie, Commissioner Pam Trees, Commissioner Jason Snyder, and Commissioner Nafisa Pai. I am sorry, Board Clerk Moss, that we cut your lunch hour down, so you didn't get your full hour today. We do try to be cognizant of our impact to your working conditions. So thank you for accommodating that. So we're in our first board and leadership communication session for this new year, I suggest, given that we have an executive session coming up in 45 minutes, that we start with leadership communication first. Ms. Angie.
Good morning, Chair and Board of Commissioners. I must say I was very happy to see 2005 go, and welcome 2025 go. Yeah, 2005 as well.
At the moment there.
2025, I will call it a banner year of really ups and downs and challenges, but really looking forward to 2026 and to really kick off the year, something exciting. The county has successfully implemented and started operations within Workday, our new ERP. My hair is not on fire. This building, the lights are on. Everything is still moving forward as a county. Of course, we do have a laundry list of things that don't quite go right when you implement new software. And so one of those is just, for example, who has permissions to approve certain POs, purchase orders, and departments. There's a lot of minutia that's going on behind the scenes, but I just want to compliment the organization, your board's leadership for funding this system. This is the third ERP transition I've gone through in my career, and I have still not heard, why are we doing this? That has not been a question. It has been more about the how does this impact my work? How can I be more efficient? How will this benefit me? And I think that's a testament to time. And so also with 2025, it was good to say goodbye to a 24-year-old Oracle system. And that concludes my leadership update.
Terrific. Exciting new year. Alex.
Happy New Year from Council's Office. For your board's awareness, this week, Chloe Clay and Lynn Sanchez versus Washington County began in the Washington County Circuit Court across the street. This is the consolidation of two cases brought separately by former Metro public defenders alleging various forms of discrimination by court and jail personnel from the Washington County Sheriff's Office. The county is being represented by Chin, Smith, and Winters in the matter, and the sheriff will be over there for a portion of the trial as well as our risk manager. We expect the trial to run through next Friday. If there are any significant developments, we'll let your board know. County Council, just an internal note, we recently completed our second round of interviews for our housing attorney position. In total, we interviewed 6 high-quality candidates in the first round and conducted a second round with the top 2 candidates. We expect to make an offer within the week for the position. And I just want to give special thanks to the Washington County Housing Office. They participated in both sets of interviews, took a lot of time to do that, and we really appreciate their input. That's what I have for you today.
Great. I know that finding the right legal expertise in the public domain is tough going these days. So thank you for that. Rick Shanley, Clean Water Services. Boy, have we got a lot of topics today on Clean Water Services.
Yeah, we started off with a bang. Happy New Year. See Clean Water Services Board of Directors. I wanted to start by saying tonight we have a state of our partnership meeting. This evening, Joe Gall and I will be presenting. We had to reschedule that one, so we're glad to get that back on the books with the City of Hillsborough. I think some of the board members are going to be in attendance.
I'll be Zoom.
Oh, great. Great. Okay.
Be in
wonderful.
person.
So
Great.
we appreciate you taking the time to join us and your continued support. I have a whole hour this Thursday to present at the roundtable, kind of a look back and what we're looking forward to in 2026. So I'm going to I'm going to not steal my own thunder and save the rest of my commentary for this Thursday.
Well, I have a question for you, if you don't mind. So there were predictions of a big windstorm the last week or two of our business work in December, and I was grateful that those winds didn't seem to come northward for us. But as I drove through the Detroit Lake area to and from Bend, I was impressed on the drive out to see recent tree fall from alongside of the road. And it occurred 4 or 5 days later on our way out that was new and fresh. So it got me thinking back to one of our tours that we had with the Purple Pipe at Rock Creek, how we were in the backside of the treatment plant, and I was still cognizant of the forest around us. And I'm wondering if the saturation of the soil has complicated any of the operations around the treatment plants or pump stations over these last few weeks.
Yeah.
My fingers are crossed, but what are your thoughts?
Fingers crossed. So far, so good. That one that we had predictions of very high winds, I think was Christmas, did not materialize. So we dodged a bullet, potentially. A couple weeks ago, there was an event that knocked out some of the power to our Forest Grove treatment plant and upstream of our service, and that we had to put a lot of emergency procedures and plans in place. Again, we had no issues, we had no major problems from that, but that one we were walking a little bit tensely and had to get folks in late at night and kind of in preparations. But
well, it just comes. It reminds me how appreciative I am of the dedication from everyone in the workforce, top to bottom, bottom to top, to keep things operational, because the soil is wet. It doesn't take a lot to take these giant trees and topple them over. So thank you for keeping things running 24/7. Okay, we'll move then to board communication. Who would like to go first?
I can go first. And mine is going to be very short. I took the last 2 weeks off just to enjoy. The kids and I did take some couple beach trips, but mostly stayed in Aloha the whole time. Had a great time, and so I'm looking forward to 2026. It's going to be a great year. There's a lot of work ahead. This week also started out as very busy, but busy year ahead, and I'm here and looking forward to that. Nothing for board awareness for now.
Thank you.
I go next. I think we're all thinking, wow, that happened that long time ago.
Yeah.
But I did also appreciate a little bit slower time over the holidays. But there are a few things that I want to bring to your attention that I think are important to mention. I had a check-in with John Wheeler before the holidays about RDPO, and I just want to report back that John has been participating in a small task force on RDPO, and he's working on looking into the right sizing of the organization and how that organization will move into the future. I have a lot of faith in John, and I think we've got the right person there working with Mark. And there will be a change management plan by the end of January. I'll know more about that in the end, and the goal is to implement it by June. So it's aggressive, but this is what happens when you lose federal funding. So that's the bottom line. I also wanted to mention the Cornell Road Transitional Housing Open House that was held right before the holidays as well. I thought it went very well. It was set up so that when you went into the room, chair was there as well. When you went into the room, there were different locations where you could gain information from different providers. So instead of being a presentation model where people were talking and it was Q&A, it was much more interactive. And I think people got their questions answered. Helping Hands was there. The sheriff's office was there. There was a whole lot of folks there. And I was really comfortable with the way it moved forward. It wasn't, there was no volatility around the discussions in that room. And I think that was an important piece.
One of the items that I really internalized being there was to address prior asked questions about location around schools. There was a map of all the schools in Washington County's area and the distance proximity from this. And it was quite an insightful bubble map, if I refer to it, because just as our staff has articulated, you essentially can't find a place because we have such a compact community within the urban growth boundary.
And that map was, I think, if I can build on that, just
Probably remember it better.
It was instructive from the standpoint that people are saying, this is my neighborhood, but oh, look at this. It's the whole county neighborhood. So I think that was the big takeaway there, if I can build on what you were saying.
Yeah.
Last night was the first ACRE meeting. Both Jason and I were there, and it was a really interactive meeting. We talked about in the staff update, there was a lot of discussion about the CPO modernization. Both Mary Manso and Bruce were there, and they did provide testimony at the end of the meeting, but that was confined to the staff updates. The focus was on the state legislature and our priorities and what we're doing there, as well as the county's budget process. The underlying message that went through all of them, and Jason, I like your feedback on this too, was that we are in our financial constraints drive exactly what we're doing in so many of these cases, whether it's interaction with our budget, obviously, but also interaction with the state legislature, how we position ourselves with the state legislature in relationship to, as we've talked about ad nauseum, unfunded mandates, but also how we protect things like the courthouse funding and that type of thing.
I think it was kind of eye-opening.
I agree.
Members.
I agree. And it was interesting. Some of the people would say, now, wait a minute. Are you talking about an approach? Is that legislative or is that right in the county? There was many times where there was confusion about what we were talking about. And it just is a process to build that type of clarity.
If I can put a plug in, I think with the roundtable on Thursday, where you've got a piece on the budget, I think we want to take those learnings and comments and think about one of the things I want to make sure I walk away from that roundtable is for engaging with the mayors, for example. We've had an elected officials presentation for them, a couple of touch points, and I checked in with them yesterday. They'd like to see us do that again this budget year, so I was going to raise it then. But I think these learnings, I appreciate what you're getting at, but I don't know what that tells us. If you could reflect on how we might have some information, or whether it's visual and or just verbally, to help ensure that people are clear about our circumstances.
I think
that's a really good experience.
From my perspective, it feels a little bit like a town hall, in that you're talking to people who are just trying to get the information and absorb the information. And the key message to me is we're in a complex situation, and the degree to which we can reduce that complexity is the best approach. But it isn't. There's not a silver bullet here.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because all the strands.
But we're building our capacity in the form of doing more. Like, I think people that were in the conversations on government relations, legislature yesterday, plus the budget, they have an increased capacity to have a more meaningful conversation in a month or two.
And outside with
Yeah.
others as well.
Yep.
So, and it also made me, as we were going through all of our community engagement discussions today, I was reflecting on the fact that
That was community
that was,
engagement.
yeah, that was community engagement. So, tomorrow I've got a meeting with Senator Solomon to talk about her economic development bill. And I also have a meeting this week with Senator Lieber to discuss the courthouse planning funding preservation. I've been working with government relations on that. That's Friday. I've got a meeting downtown with Works Institute.
Well, we had discussion as part of it, so thank you. Commissioner Willie.
Or do you want? I can go.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner Snyder.
Before the holidays, there was a Westside Economic Alliance board retreat, and one thing that I do want to mention from that multi-hour session relates to the economic development bill, and maybe I'll hand you this outline if you want it, if you haven't seen this, but the Hillsborough City government affairs staff actually came to the board retreat at the end and presented information on the sort of, I would call it a loose coalition of folks that are working on some sort of a state economic development bill that at least addresses some of Washington County stuff. And I just very quickly want to highlight those things so people have awareness to them. Point one was to around sites to unlock land for advanced manufacturing. Essentially, I think the goal of that was to make SB4 from 2023 actually happen now. Second point was around incentives, retaining and attracting advanced manufacturing jobs. That includes expanding an R&D tax credit, capital equipment property tax relief, strengthening existing incentive programs that are already there. And the third point was around regulatory reform and really bringing certainty at the state level to make the state agencies actually do things in a timely manner or get penalized if they don't. So just some highlights there. I think it's worthy of note.
Was this in concert with the Prosperity Council that the governor announced as well?
That wasn't specifically discussed, but I think this bill may, I think the efforts are coming from multiple areas, and that's good to see. I did have a somewhat restful break, but did meet with a number of constituents and electeds over the last couple of weeks. Yesterday, we had the ACRE meeting. I think Commissioner Treese covered that well. We are going to have a retreat, though, in February, so I'll add that. I had a one-on-one with...
Date to be determined.
Yeah, date to be determined. I had a one-on-one with Under Sheriff Cook yesterday. It was good to reconnect with him and welcome him back from his great experience at the FBI Academy. This Wednesday, I'm going to be serving on a grant review committee for the Aviation Department. This was an ODOT Region 1 ask, so I know a bit about aviation and have a pilot in my family, so I agreed to, no one else was stepping up, and I said I can do that. Thursday, I do want to just point out for staff that the juvenile justice PAC meeting is happening at the same time there's a board meeting or board roundtable, so I just from a staff perspective, I won't be there. Maybe Bryn, you can let the staff know that. And then Friday I have a meeting with Aaron Doyle and with County Council. A week.
All right, thank you. Well, apologies to John Wheeler that I'm going to say this, but anytime you say RDPO, I think Star Wars. Okay, so
That's R2D2, but that's okay.
close enough. So anyway, yeah, that's. Just over the last couple of weeks, it has been nice to take some time off, and I was especially pleased that I think many of our staff also took advantage of that 2-week period of time. And unfortunately, there was a couple of things that they had to put up with me on. So one is I had to follow up with Stimson Lumber, ask for a meeting, and I had that. Staff followed up and continue to follow up with their project. If you remember, we went on a tour several of us went on a tour in August and saw a layout of what it is that they're increasing and improving their lumber mill out there, and a lot of other opportunities I think they have. So anyway, I appreciate LUT's team for being available. Certainly Stephen and Aaron Wardell, Carol Johnson for starters. So everybody else is still working on that. And then with this emergency declaration that we approved today, again, kind of out of the clear blue sky, Senator Weber reached out and asked if we would do that. And as usual, everybody on staff rallied to that. So we had a meeting here of about, I don't know, Aaron, was there like 6 of us in that room? That John Wheeler, of course, is one of them. And everybody really stepped up and did their homework on why we need to do that and how to do that. And so I was very appreciative of that, especially during the holiday couple weeks. So good job on that. Tonight I will be, Rick, I will be with you there at your, I saw the email where number 1 or number 2 on the agenda. So we'll be able to get in there and get it done. Yep. So that's good. We have our first CWS Audit Committee meeting tomorrow. Then Thursday, I will be attending the Washington County Chamber State of the Washington County Business event. And yeah, in regards to what you were talking about with the economics or the ECDEV part of it, I think we'll probably hear some more there. But I did reach out to Hillsborough on the governor's proposal and just say, you know, who did she talk to before where they crafted that thing? And there was some indirect conversation that they had with Hillsborough. I think probably Hillsborough was prejudiced, but premier in their ECDEV. What needs to be communicated very clearly, though, everybody that's engaged with that, is we can improve, we can expand and get industrial land. It's going to take a Herculean lift, and there's a lot of work to it. But it's still 10 years before we can build the infrastructure to that. So,
But if we don't start now.
yeah, I completely agree. It's just I want people to understand that this is
not a next year play.
Yeah, it's not a switch where we just turn it on and voila, we've got everything ready to go and we start inviting companies to come see it. So anyway, it does take some time, but we do need to start, as you pointed out. And then Friday, I will be at the AOC Transportation and Community Development meeting virtually, of course. And but it's been good. Now it's time to get back to work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we can talk more about the spread across the different AOC steering committees in our roundtable on Thursday.
Okay.
So I just want to note a couple of things as we all, including staff, continue to set us up well into this new year. I want to give a shout out to our legal staff and behavioral health staff for all of the follow-up to get agreement with the state on the financial agreement, CFAA, as well as the other behavioral health funding, and making sure we took action on that as quickly as we could to have clarity there. So there was a lot of great conversation and work that they did to represent us well. I also want to give a shout out verbally in our first business meeting on a really good email from Pablo Valenzuela from our government relations team. He sent it on Friday, December 19th on our state ledge engagement for January 14th. So I look forward to getting a little further information about where we need to be and so forth. So, but that was very timely to get that. So we have had good background on it. And just a heads up for 2 information items that are in our roundtable packet. I will be bringing in an updated version of the roundtable plan. We have one additional item that's added to our February roundtable. And then I found a couple of minor mistakes on the committee formatting work for the by CC member setup. So I'll correct those. If I get it done sooner on Wednesday, I'll send that out in addition to get it over to Kevin for the packet. So no great shakes, but I wanted to give you a heads up that I caught a couple of errors. That's it for me. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, well, great. We've bought ourselves a little bit of time. So we just have one more item on today's agenda, and it is an executive session. So at this juncture, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session for clean water services pursuant to ORS 192.660, sub 2, sub F, sub H, for the purposes of exempt records and potential litigation. Motion.
Second.
And we have a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. We will act.